Greetings. My name is Letitia Hensley, and I'm the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools Director of Family and Community Engagement. We are excited that you are joining us today and know you will gain great insight from this session. At the conclusion of today's session, please provide feedback so that we can continue to support you with amazing sessions that will be provided throughout the year. Now, without further ado, we'll turn it over to our presenters.
Good afternoon, CMS families. Thank you for joining us today for our Title I Family Advisory Committee. We are so glad to have you with us. A few housekeeping pieces as we begin today's session. Captions and translation support is available on today's call. On the top right-hand corner of your screen, you should see the word captions with the crossed out CC box. From there, you will have a drop-down appear that says Show Live Captions. And from there, you may select any of the languages that appear in the drop-down below. English is available for subtitles, and we are translating into 10 different languages. And we want to be engaged with you today. We are so glad you're here. On the top right-hand corner next to the captions button, you will see the Q&A feature. When you click Q&A, a text box will appear where you are able to type any questions you may have, any wonderings, and throughout today's presentations, we'll add any links that might be necessary within that Q&A feature. Additionally, we love to know how our presentation is working for you. So please react with us, engage with us. If you have any new learnings or wow moments, please share, give us a thumbs up so that we can continue to make sure that these sessions are meeting your needs as a family and community. And let's kick it off with our welcome and opening. And we want to brag about it. We want to hear about what your favorite childhood book was and why you felt that way. So please, in the Q&A, share with us what was your favorite childhood book. One thing that always stands out to me with literacy is the way that books are tied into our memories. So I know my favorite childhood book growing up was Stella Luna. And if you haven't read that book, it is a great story about home and family and being connected that centers around a bat as the main character. And I always remember reading that book with my family and just those different ways that we stayed connected and the relation that I found between the book and my life. And I always found that to be just so informative. And I still look back and have those fond memories with the book Stella Luna. So take a moment, add your favorite childhood book in the Q&A, and I can't wait to see those memories that you share as well. Additionally, we want to hear from you. The goal of our Title I Family Advisory Committee is to make sure that we are meeting your needs and providing you with information and resources to support your work as a parent within our community and make sure you know what is available to you as well. So please take a moment to share your feedback with us. I have added that link into our Q&A as well. And just very quickly, let's review some of the roles of our Title I Family Advisory Committee. So we want to make sure that you're aware of the grant services and family engagement strategies that have been implemented in CMS. We would like you to provide feedback on the Title I Family Engagement Policy. Today, we are going to go over updates for the next step since we have gathered your feedback in previous sessions. Provide input on different targeted topics for our Family Academy sessions. Propose any new ideas. Share resources with other families in your community. And to provide any insights to challenges with family engagement in CMS from your unique lens as a parent or member of the community and families within the district so that we can continue to address any of these challenges and support you to the best of our department's ability. And at this time, I'm excited to turn it over to our speakers today. We have CMS Trauma Specialist Jessica Jacobs and CMS Crisis Prevention and Response Coordinator Jesse Langford on the call, who are going to share additional information about the sources of strength within CMS.
Hi, everybody. I am happy to be here with you today. I am Jessica Jacobs, as mentioned, and I am the trauma specialist for CMS. Today, we are going to be talking about sources of strength and the collaboration we have with the Office of Violence Prevention in Mecklenburg County. This is one piece of our role, and we are excited to share this with you today. So today we're going to be talking about what is sources of strength and why it's important. We are also going to talk about how this is implemented within CMS and how you can get involved and make an impact. So we want to start by sharing about why we have sources of strength within CMS. And so you'll see on the left side of the screen, we are showing the connections that we have between the CMS goals and guardrails, as well as what the program supports. And so this is tied to Guardrail 3, which is attending to the entire child, the whole child, and that is specifically talking about the student well-being and engagement. We are also connected to Academic Excellence Priority 5, which ties to the development of the well-being of the entire child, promoting positive behaviors, consistent attendance, and building strong social emotional skills. We have some other goals that we're also tied towards. So we are heavily using data when we are making these decisions, which is our Operational Excellence Priority 5 and our Engagement Excellence Priority 1, where we're collaborating closely with our community partners and governmental agencies to meet the needs of our students and staff equitably. So we will spend some time focusing on this particular one through this conversation today. We do have wonderful partnerships in place with Mecklenburg County. They specifically have an Office of Violence Prevention that's working on violence prevention efforts across all of Mecklenburg County, and they do have priority zip codes. Those priority zip codes often align with our Title I schools. And so you'll be seeing as we progress forward which schools we're in at the moment, and we will continue to expand until we have reached all of our secondary schools with this program. So anyone who is in 6th through 12th grades. The last priority that we are aligned with is that engagement excellence priority 4, where we are coordinating with community organizations and pursuing additional funding opportunities and resources to meet the needs of our students and staff and to create new opportunities for them. So, what is sources of strength? We're talking about it, but we haven't explained what it is yet. And so over on the right side of the screen, you will see a brief description of sources of strength, but we're going to spend some time this afternoon showing you what sources of strength is. And so sources of strength is a secondary model, meaning that it's serving our 6th through 12th grade students. It is a best practice use suicide prevention project that's designed to harness the power of peer social networks to change unhealthy norms and cultures, ultimately preventing suicide, bullying, violence, and substance abuse. And so when we're sharing this definition, I want to break it down a little bit. When we're talking about it was originally created as part of a suicide prevention project, but it is something that we call radically upstream, meaning that when we're thinking through all of the different types of prevention work we do, this one really focuses on promoting positive strengths. And so it is upstream. It spends a lot less time talking about risk factors and warning signs and a lot more time building skills within our students, such as positive leadership skills, as well as help-seeking behaviors to have positive benefits in many different areas of their life. So research has shown us that using this program, there's positive results that impact a lot of different areas, and we'll show you a little bit more about that in just a second. If you'll go to the next slide. So, what are we doing with sources to improve student outcomes? So, as I mentioned, we have this partnership with the Office of Violence Prevention. And that directly impacts our Sources of Strength initiative because we are collaborating with, there is a youth advisory council. There's 100 youth across Mecklenburg County that work with the Office of Violence Prevention to provide their insights on what they think would be most helpful to reach their peers. And so we collaborate with them to ensure that student voice is involved in the violence prevention efforts. And so we're really recognizing that students really know how to reach their peers. They often may know things or notice changes or to see things on social media before adults do. And so we really want to capitalize on their power to positively influence their peers and really use their voice. So one of the things we love about Sources of Strength is that it is a peer program. So it's peer-led, meaning that the students are figuring out how to best reach and positively impact their peers. We know that this is a trauma-informed approach to preventing violence, and there is a House bill that requires every school district to have a peer-to-peer student violence prevention program, and so this is our program within CMS that meets this need. Sources of Strength has been shown to increase protective factors and build up individual strengths, which help then reduce all of those outcomes that we said that we're looking for earlier. So such as suicide, other adverse outcomes such as that substance abuse, bullying, violence, and dropout are also some of the other positive impacts that this program has. So Sources of Strength outcomes have shown that students are much more likely to increase in help-seeking behaviors. They feel more connected and they have more trust towards adults. So what we are doing is we have really built up the skills within those peer leaders themselves, but they then push this positive messaging out to their peers at the school so that it has a positive impact on the entire school. And we'll get a little bit more into the model as we move forward today. But we know that they are more likely, they're 4 times more likely to connect a friend who is struggling with the help that they need and deserve. And that goes across globally across different areas, not specifically related just to suicide. So there was a really recent research that was released last month that showed that Sources of Strength, when implemented with fidelity, reduces suicide attempts by 29%. And so we were excited to see that they're continuing to do research that's continuing to show positive outcomes. The right side of the screen also shows all of the wonderful other areas that we are looking for positive outcomes for our students by implementing this program. And so research has shown improvements in attendance and reductions in bullying, as well as substance abuse or misuse, violence, suicidal ideation, and a decrease in the dropout rate of students. The visual shows that we know that these things are often overlapping. And so we know that individuals who are struggling with suicide and suicidal ideation, suicidal thoughts, often have a mental health illness that is diagnosable. And then also we know that when individuals may attempt suicide, they are more likely to be under the influence of a substance when they make that act. And then we know that also for our teens, depression and anxiety can often present as more irritability or aggression, and not always as that like sleepiness. And so by doing this program and really focusing, like I said, upstream on more prevention work, we are impacting all of these areas, which is one of the things that is really helpful about this program, that it's not just specific to suicide, but it has all these wonderful positive outcomes for our students. So the overall vision of Sources of Strength is to empower a well world. We're going to jump in a second into what that looks like, but first we want to give you a little example of what the program might do. And so there are 3 components to the program, and it is 1 part fun, one part planning and then one part sharing. And so in this format, it's a little bit difficult to do some interaction. So we're going to really capitalize on those React features that we showed you at the beginning. And so we're going to ask you a few things and we're going to play this game. I want you to think about it like a roller coaster. If we were in person, we would be, doing roller coaster movements like we were riding on a roller coaster, but we are going to do our best to react to some of these statements. So pretty much what you're going to be telling me is if you love something, or if you were like, no, thank you, I'm terrified, or I'm not a huge fan of that. So we all feel different ways about roller coasters, and I want you to imagine, are you the person on the front of the roller coaster that's got their arms up and is really excited about this? Or are you the person who is gripping on and like, how did I end up on this ride? I'm really not sure about this. And so we're going to use the two React options of a heart if it's something that you're like, yes, I love this. And we're going to use the like open face surprise if you're like, no, I'm not really sure about this. How did this happen? Okay, and some of these are silly. They're intended to be things for us to kind of have a little bit of a laugh about and find connections with other people who are here today. So we'll start with an easy one. So we will start with black coffee. Are you a fan of black coffee, or are you like, no, thank you, black coffee is not my thing. I need enough creamer in it that it doesn't taste like coffee. Awesome. Great. Okay, so that was just kind of one of our little kickoff ones, and so little practice. We'll move on and get into a few others. So some of these are silly, like I said. So mayonnaise. I know sometimes people have strong feelings about mayonnaise. Are you loving mayonnaise, or are you like, no, thank you? All right. I love mayonnaise, so I'm gonna agree with a lot of those hearts that I just saw. All right, what about camping? Are you like, yes, love camping? No, thank you. I want to sleep in my own bed. All right, a mix there. Okay, we'll do one more. Let's go with shoes on dogs. How do we feel about shoes on dogs? Okay, mixed feelings. All right, some hearts about shoes on dogs. All right, wonderful. So what we would be doing, if we were in person or even if we were virtual, but more able to see each other, is you're building connections with other people who may feel similar things to you. Some of these get, silly. The more we go, you have some giggles. When you're laughing with other people, that's also building connection. So when we're having that kind of laughter moment, um, it it really helps to increase the open-mindedness and your learning ability, but also build connection with somebody else when you're able to share a laugh with somebody. And so these are just some small things. It's not something that takes a huge amount of time for the students, but they always start with one aspect of play. Sometimes it could be like this roller coaster activity. Sometimes it could involve, a ball or a silly game or something along those lines. But the intention is to build connection and for students who didn't otherwise know each other to get to know each other better. We're gonna go ahead and talk more about what the prevention work looks like. So you've heard me talk about this as being upstream. So there in the public health field and in the field of social work, there is a parable that talks about a woman who goes for a walk along the river, and she is walking along the river and she hears a scream and sees someone who has fallen into the water and they are asking for help. So she jumps in, she pulls the person out of the water, she performs CPR, and a life is saved. And everyone's like, wow, thank you so much. That was amazing. She goes home, she goes about her day, she takes a rest, and she goes for her same walk the next day. And the next day she's walking, and again, there's someone who has fallen into the river who's crying out for help. So she jumps in, pulls the person out, does CPR, another life is saved. But as soon as that happens, there's somebody else who's crying out for help. And so they're crying out for help. She jumps back in, she pulls another person out. The community is like, "What is happening? This is a lot. We need to do something about this. We need to do prevention. So let's go ahead and train like a lot of people in our town on how to do CPR and how to pull someone out of the water. Let's make sure we have watch stations and lifeguard stations to make sure that we're keeping everybody safe." And they do the best that they can, but they aren't able to save everybody from falling over the waterfall. And one day they're out there and the woman starts walking upstream. And everyone's like, "Where are you going? It's a crisis. All hands on deck." And she says, "I'm going upstream to figure out why people are falling in." And so she's able to go upstream and she finds that there's a broken bridge, which is where people are falling in, and they start to work on that broken bridge. And so when we're saying upstream, that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about that work that's happening further up the stream before the person even falls in the river instead of the response to after they've fallen in. And in this metaphor, that falling in the river could be so many things. It could be suicidal ideation, it could be an act of violence, it could be just something that's so significant of a stressor that it overwhelms a person's ability to cope. And so, there are different phases along the river. If you'll advance for me so it pops up, there's some words, thank you. So this is the upstream prevention of where sources lives. Then the next part is going to talk about, if we go to the next slide, it talks about intervention. And so this intervention space is where a lot of prevention programs really live. It's when we're talking about how to notice warning signs, how to connect people to help, those types of things. But that's really often in the intervention space after someone's already showing those really big signs of stressors. But we do know that sources is impactful because it's more likely to connect people to help. And then sources of strength can also be effective in that postvention space as well. So one of the things that differentiates sources from most other programs is that it is peer-led and upstream. And the peer-led part is really impactful. There are so many times when we are teaching something as adults and trying to reach peers, but we're not empowering the youth themselves to have that voice and also to figure out how to reach their peers. We might have ideas of adults of how to reach students, and the students might think, hold on, we need to think about this in a different way because that actually isn't going to work for our peers. The other piece is that it's templated but individualized. Every school has different needs, and so every school is not doing the exact same thing. We do ask schools to often start with getting the word out, telling people that you have sources and what sources is and what the aspects of the strengths are. But after that, schools have the flexibility and opportunity to really individualize how they reach their peers, what they're doing, and what their school needs. So it might be a school where they are really focusing more on building strengths to prevent violence. It might be another school that's really focusing on building strengths and connectedness to improve their attendance rates. And there might be another school that's working on it. Maybe their school community has experienced a suicide and they're really promoting mental health and protective factors and reaching out for help. So it can really be customized. We're going to go ahead and watch a video and hear directly from some students. This is some students sharing their mission statement. We can't hear it.
We're West Middle, and this is our sources of strength.
We are a group of diverse students and
We are a group of diverse students and adults
from many different corners.
From many different corners
And cultures
Of our school and community.
We believe that life
has ups
And downs.
that all of us
We'll go through good times
and tough times.
This is a generation of movers and doers, and they're not okay with just sitting by and watching things happen. So we're giving them the skills and the opportunity to practice that at 11, 12, and 13.
What helps me with anger, anxiety, or sadness? Positive friends.
family support helps me when I am feeling down.
I think everyone has a different way of finding a source and different meaning to it.
Today was all about sources of strength, and we're recognizing the green part of our wheel today. The green portion of the wheel stands for mentors.
My name is Miss Breaky, and my source of strength is family support.
My name is Preston.
I'm Ethan.
I am Owen.
I'm Jasmine.
Maya, Alita, Mac, wow.
I'm Caleb, and my sources of strength is physical health.
I'm Kaylee, and my sources of strength is healthy activity.
And my sources of strength is mentors, family support,
Positive friends.
Is spirituality.
They're figuring out who they are. Things are tough now. They're much different than when I was 11, 12, and 13 years old. They're facing real world problems and really big things.
What helps me with anger, anxiety, or sadness is listening to music.
It is important that we teach students what to do when things get tough before they actually get tough.
I understand that there's something I can look to help me when I'm just feeling sad and frustrated.
Our mission is to ensure
That during the rough time,
No one gets so overwhelmed.
or hopeless, that they want to give up.
our mission is to spread hope
help
and strength.
into every corner of our community. Our mission recognizes that our voice has great power.
The strengths that I rely on are first positive friends.
My strengths are healthy activities and physical health.
What helps me is my mentor. My ballet teacher teaches me grace and strength.
My sources of strength is physical health. Whenever I'm feeling sad, mad, or any other negative emotion, I go to the baseball field.
We're teaching them how to lead. And when we think about what this country needs, what our society needs, what we need are leaders.
We decided to do a dance squad because you don't need to be popular and be a cool kid just to fit in.
We know our most powerful impact comes.
My personal action.
Conversation,
Our activities,
our social media,
Our culture
And our voice.
this gives life to our efforts.
We are success!
It definitely brings positivity into a lot of people's lives.
Try to spread the good, to spread help-seeking strategies and resiliency skills, and to make it cool to be strong.
That's a wrap.
So this is an example of a middle school. There are high school examples that we have also. This specific one is not a CMS school. Our students are currently working on making a CMS version that we're really excited to see what they put together. But that is an example of what sources of strength looks like. This is what we call our strength wheel or our sources wheel. These are the 8 strengths that we are building in our students and that they already have in some capacity. We're just helping them put vocabulary around it and promote those strengths to other students. And so there are 8 pieces of the wheel. We call each of these the strengths. So each one is its own strength. So you heard in that video them name many of these different strengths, but there's family support, positive friends, mentors, healthy activities, generosity, spirituality, physical health, and mental health. We talk through with the students that family support may look different for everybody. This could look like your biological family. It could look like with family members that you live with. It could look like your best friend's family or that neighbor that you've grown up having around all of your life. And so that can look a lot of different ways for students. And we talk through who their family support is and who they feel like they can go to outside of school as much as inside of school. And so the next one ties to positive friends, which is talking through what does it mean to be a positive friend? What does it mean to really make sure that you are treating your friends in a way that's respectful to get along? How do you problem solve? How do you, when there's conflict, how do you manage conflict amongst your peers? The next one is mentors. You can have mentors in lots of different aspects of your life. And what are those aspects that help you to feel like you are strong? And how do you find a mentor if you don't already have one? Healthy activities often ties to, sports or music or what you do with your time, or when you're having a tough day, what you do that helps to make you feel better. Generosity, we talk about the different ways that we're generous to others. And this is not necessarily financial. This can be what we are doing with our time. This can be what we are doing to show kindness and support to others. A smile or holding the door for someone is also an act of generosity. So we talk that through with our students. Some of our students do choose to do fundraisers or like food drives and things like that for this particular area, while others talk about positive things that they are doing that are acts of generosity with their time. The next one is spirituality. For some of our students, this may include religion, but for others, we're talking about that root word spirit. What helps to lift your spirit? What helps to make you feel that sense of joy? And we spend a lot of time talking about gratitude here. So when we're talking about what are you grateful for, what are you thankful for, and helping us to focus on the things that are going really well or that we're grateful for, as well as the places that help to lift our spirit. And so that might be when you're out in nature. I did a training with a school this week, and a lot of the students said either being at the beach or being outside were some places that help to lift their spirit. We talk about physical health. What do we do to be preventative and build our physical strength? Are you drinking enough water? Are you getting enough sleep? What are you doing in those particular areas? Do you brush your teeth when you need to? Do you shower when you need to? And then that last one, these two are so interconnected, that physical health and that mental health. But what are you doing to promote your own mental wellness? What are you doing to strengthen your mental health? So what coping skills do you have when you start to not feel well? And what can you do if you start to become concerned about your mental health? So these are the aspects of the wheel. This is the visual we love to use across CMS. There's different visuals. You saw the one on the last slide, but this one we really love because it has so many different aspects within one wheel. You get to see the visual representation as well as in English, as well as in Spanish, all in one place. And so this is those pieces of the wheel, and these are the strengths that we are working to build in our students. So I'd like each of you to challenge yourself to think today about one of these strengths that you are feeling really strong in, or one or two that you feel really strong in right now, and which strength you would like to strengthen over the course of the next semester, so through the end of the school year. And so I encourage you to answer these for yourself, but also to ask someone else. And I'd love for you guys, as we continue to move forward, to share in the chat at least one strength that you're feeling really strong in right now. I'd love to hear from you guys about that. So put that in the Q&A as we continue to move forward, but we really want to hear from each of you about which one of these strengths you're feeling strong in, and take it outside of this meeting too by later today asking somebody else. So our sources of strength model is that we have caring, connected adults who are positive adults, those adults that students feel comfortable connecting with, who are representative of their school population. So we want to be diverse, inclusive, and collaborative in this approach. are paired with peer leaders who have social influence within their social group. And so this is not like a student council specific type of thing. We want everybody across the school represented. So when we're talking through social network, we're talking about everyone being able to reach their peers to spread a broader message. So we want the people who are in this group, if they were to name their 5 closest friends, we would want them to all be different people. So oftentimes when we start these at a school, the students who are in the room together, who are becoming those peer leaders, don't know each other or may have seen each other in the hallway, but we want everyone represented. We want to have our students who are passing every single one of their classes with, the highest grades in the class. We also want the students who are really struggling academically. We want the students who are maybe having some behavioral concerns or may have been suspended or skipped school. We want them too, because we want them to be able to reach the peers who are going through the same thing they are and create positive change within that group. So those two groups work together, those adult advisors and peer leaders work collaboratively on strategic messaging campaigns that students in the whole school engage with, interact with, and have to apply to their own lives. And together, this creates that positive culture change through positive social norming. So an example of this might be instead of sharing something that is a challenge. So for example, instead of saying something like, of what maybe this is something you experienced where around the time of prom, they share messaging like, hey, 12% of our students going, or sorry, 12% of students going to prom drink and drive. You shouldn't drink and drive. And they put a crashed car out in front of the school that shows what that might look like. This is very different than that. This is 88% of students who go to prom at our school do not engage in drinking. And here are the things that they do instead. And here are the things they do to keep them safe. So it's not, it's focusing on all of the positive things that are happening and promoting those healthy things that are happening of what people can do to not fall into that other group, instead of sharing the scary facts about that particular aspect of students are doing that. And that positively social norms, it's kind of using peer pressure in a really positive way to say, hey, it's not everybody who's drinking. It's actually a minority of people. So therefore, if you are drinking, you might need to reach out for some help, or here are the people that you can connect with. The same is true for attendance, right? We're highlighting how many students showed up to school instead of highlighting the number that are not in attendance. So really saying like, hey, at our school today, we've got 94% of our students here today. We're so proud of you. Thank you for what you did to make it to school on time today. And show us that you are here to engage in learning today, instead of focusing solely on the students who are not attending school. We're using that positive peer pressure to get people to engage in school. So we are spreading messages of hope, help, and strength instead of sad, shock, and trauma. And so again, like that car crash example, or if you remember like the DARE program where you were talking about, if you smoke, this might be what happens to you. Those programs still have value in some spaces, but we are further up the stream for this. We are promoting these positive, healthy things of what are the alternatives? How can you build your strengths and fill your time with these positive things?
This year, I feel stronger in my mentors at school. This year, I found 2 adults I could talk to. They've really helped me through some things at home and at school that I am really, really thankful for.
This year, I am stronger in mental health because I have been talking to my therapist for a year and a half now, and I have a support system who is always there for me.
This year, I am stronger in medical access because at the beginning of the year, I had some medical issues with my lungs. I had surgery December 15th, and I feel so much better. I feel great now.
This year, I feel stronger in positive friends because of the amount of close friends that I've made that I can rely on, and they can rely on me.
I helped people with homework, and just the smile and the light in their eyes after they got help from me. It was really nice and it's a good feeling.
This year I feel stronger in healthy activities. Sports has helped me use my time more productively.
Last year I was struggling with an eating disorder, and with family support and positive friends I was able to improve my mental health.
This year I feel stronger in spirituality. It seems that if I spread positivity throughout my life, that it comes right back, and that as long as I keep a positive mindset, my environment, my experiences all around stay positive.
So we want to show you where the program is currently happening across CMS. So our schools that have been previously implementing before this school year are on the left, and the blue coloring shows you which ones are Title I schools. So these are schools that had previously individually wanted to seek out this program and told us wonderful things about it that led to us expanding it across our district to meet the new House bill. And as well as a lot of other data that we have that shows the need for this type of programming. On the right, what you'll see is the schools that we've added it for 2024-25. So these are schools that were added this school year. So we are now supporting and sustaining all of these programs. This is 17 schools for this school year. And then we'll go to the next slide again. Blue indicates the Title I schools. This is our cohort for next school year that's being added. And then we don't have a slide that shows cohort 3, but cohort 3 is all of the remainder of our or all the remainder of our secondary schools, 6th through 12th. What we tried to do was we tried to make sure that the cohort that they were starting to implement this was not the time they had another lift of another curriculum. And so that was what influenced which cohort schools fell into. I am going to turn things over to my colleague Jessie to continue the presentation.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Jessie Langford. I am the Crisis Prevention and Response Coordinator. So we're going to keep going along. And the last video we're going to watch is going to be a video where you get to see kind of some insight into what it looks like when our staff is being trained on how to implement sources.
Today, we are doing our Sources of Strength T for T for our first cohorts.
What I am excited about is the emphasis on the strengths of our students as opposed to focusing on their weaknesses. I also love that Sources of Strength focuses on diversity and creating opportunities for us to bring out the uniqueness of our students as opposed to focusing on any of their weaknesses.
I enjoyed being at the Sources of Strength training this week. It's been amazing. I mean, all the trainers have really made us feel at home this week. We've gathered a lot of information as we focus on helping individuals prepare for all of the different struggles that they'll have to deal with in school as well as at home.
I found this training to be incredibly engaging, informative, and inspirational, and it's been really great because I can really envision how this program will work at my school and can really make an impact and difference in the lives of our students.
I am very glad to be an adult advisor for Sources at Huff, and I look forward to playing games with them, especially Poisonous Dart Frog.
My favorite game is Awesome One because it shows what brings us together, but also what makes us unique.
I've had the amazing opportunity given to me by my principal, Sheena Miracle, to come to the Sources of Strength training. So far, I've learned so much about just empowering our students, making sure that they have a safe space to be able to talk about themselves, have a good time, and also learn to believe in themselves and strengthen themselves. I'm super excited to do with my students is really to bring this training into the school so that I can kind of create a sense of community amongst my students to be able to talk to them on a very equal level. level, because I know we're teachers and they're students, and some people have that like teacher-student, keep them down there, but I feel like we really do need to bring it in and listen to their opinions and have this really equal level of respect to really have these discussions about mental health, depression, suicide, and different things that can really bring down a student that students don't feel like they can talk about, and just bring in more trusted people.
I think this is very different. I love it. Social strength is all about uphill, upstream prevention for suicide. And everything I think that we do right now is, at the end, it's intervention, not prevention. Social strength does a great job with the prevention part, showing how to find our strengths in the 8 cores and using the modalities that we have. So I think it'll be a great asset for Westman.
And I'm just absolutely loving the training. There's a ton of energy, a ton of enthusiasm. It's just a lot of fun. I really like learning about the different campaigns and how they're student-led, and it just reminds me of like just really good school-wide programs to enhance school culture.
The one thing that I have enjoyed these last few days with Sources of Strength is the connectedness. These last few days have been amazing, learning from each other and playing really awesome and connecting games. And I'm looking forward to implementing it in my school.
And one thing I would want people to know is that it's not just another thing. It is a thing, but not just another thing to add onto your plate. I often talk about restorative practices being a plate, and I think Sources of Strength is also a part of that plate that supports all the things we want to achieve with our students. It creates the sense of community. It creates a sense of resiliency in our students and a level of resiliency, but it creates spaces that are safe enough for our students to be brave and be their authentic selves, but also have a sense of belonging. And so it creates spaces that allow students to thrive and not just survive.
I'm excited that Sources of Strength will be coming to schools and give students the platform of voice.
I am so excited about Sources of Strength and what it's going to do and how it's going to impact our students at CMS. I really and thoroughly enjoy the cultivation of the strengths that we're focusing on that will cause all students to come together and unite all students, all diversities of students. Looking forward to it, looking forward to supporting it, looking forward to being a part of the training committee. I am excited for Sources of Strength.
This past week I've experienced the Source of Strength training, which is one of the best trainings I've ever been to. Definitely is something that will help the staff as well as the students. It helps build the connections. It teaches learning in a fun way. It helps with the students' mental health. I definitely would suggest that every school experience this program. Definitely would like to do it again, and definitely will be supporting it at my school.
Just want to represent the Sources of Strength. It is a phenomenal, when I mean phenomenal training, we can implement these things, just connect with our students, and matter of fact, engage with the whole community. So please, the thing I love the most is how it is student-led. So it's giving students a voice, giving students the opportunity to voice their opinions. So with that connection, let's bridge CMS with teachers, faculties, students, family, and friends.
Turn to the side to form a cup, and the center person is His arms are
long.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Just as a reminder, Mary does want to walk away with every single prize we own. So, Calvin, get ready. What time is it? Get go! Head, eyebrows, chin, cheeks, lower back, calf muscles, head, eyebrows, neck, up.
So hopefully you all can see how impactful this program can be, not only for our students, but also for our staff, and how exciting it is. I know we're running low on time, so I'm going to try and finish up as quickly as we can. This is our call to action for you guys moving forward. So what can you do to support this program in our schools? We need not only peer leaders in our schools, but also adult advisors. So join the team, ask your school if they have sources already. Remember that list that we shared. Schools need trusted adults. Students need trusted adults. Be there for our students. We're asking that they do at least 2 campaigns per year. We're hoping to increase that to 3 that we're suggesting that they do, and then 1 that they get to choose to do on their own. So as schools continue to implement each year, the hope is that their campaigns grow each year as well. So encourage your students to participate in their campaigns, help them when they are coming around, and encourage that. Schools need resources as well, as we all know too well. So help and give what you can. If there's a call to request materials or resources, give what you can. And just tell people about what you know about the program. Getting the word out is the #1 campaign that we ask schools to participate in, and that also counts for you guys in the community as well. So tell others about the program and spread the word. And then the last thing for today is just looking at what did you take away from today? What did you enjoy about our time together? Feel free to drop that information in the Q&A while we're wrapping up the session. And then we'll also have a Q&A at the end, and I'll be around to answer any questions that come around. I hope that you were able to get a lot out of this presentation and were able to learn, even if you just learned what your source of strength is for today. It's a super impactful program, and we hope that our adult advisors and our parents are also taking away from it just as much as our students are. And then if you would like more information moving forward, we do have contact information for Jessica and Dr. Bowles, who are both 2 of the certified trainers here in CMS, who can answer any further questions that come out of today's presentation. So we thank you for your time, and we'll turn it over and let them finish up for today.
Thank you so much to our CMS Sources of Strength team. Thank you to Jesse and Jessica for sharing such valuable information and tangible resources and easy ways to continue to get involved, have those conversations at home with your students, and understand more about the different areas of support that are currently being provided and implemented within your child's school setting. I know we are dwindling down on the time we have together, so in these last minutes, I would like to give an update on our CMS Parent and Family Engagement at Title I Schools Board Policy. The policy is Policy SPENG, and it is going to be linked within the slides that will be shared via email after today's presentation. It does live within the board docs. I know in December and January, we talked about the feedback process, gathering your feedback to make sure that the board policy does meet your needs. Our department has compiled all of the feedback provided from schools, community members, and families for review, and we are currently in the policy updates and approval process. So far, check done. We've had our school improvement teams, our community provide that informative and meaningful feedback related to this policy. It has been reviewed. At this time, our next steps will be to bring the policy recommendations to CMS committees for internal approval prior to bringing the policy to the CMS Board Policy Committee. Pending any changes to the Title I Schools SPENG policy for the 25-26 school year, a program planning will be provided to all schools by May of 2025 to allow adequate time to support implementing this plan for the upcoming school year. From there, we'll make you aware of, we'll make you aware of any of those changes and any updated policies during our May session. And then finally, I would like to highlight just a few additional opportunities that we do have in the next few weeks coming. We do have our CMS Family Academy, which provides targeted sessions to our families. These are great opportunities to learn more about a variety of topics to support your student at home. So next Thursday at this same time, 12 p.m., we will be digging into understanding the end of year assessments for K-12 learners. Definitely a great session to come learn more about those parent reports and how to support at home. On March 27th at 12 p.m., we'll have a virtual lunch and learn focused on partnering for success. We will be exploring the Infinite Campus, an overview for parents and families. Infinite Campus is a platform that will be implemented within CMS next year, and this will be a great session to learn more about what that looks like, how to engage with it as a parent, and what information will be included in the platform. On April 3rd, we will be out in the community and we hope to see you at the Ada Jenkins Center up in Davidson, where we will have our Family Academy on the go. This session will once again be focusing on our assessments, on instructional resources, and how to continue to support at home. And then lastly, we will have the April 4th Lunch and Learn session, which will focus on staying healthy at school. We'll be overviewing the virtual clinics and telemedicine opportunities in partnership with Atrium Health that are available in CMS. All of these are just such informative and great topics. We are excited to share within these upcoming 3 weeks, and we hope you are able to join us at our next 4 opportunities. We will have our final Title I Family Advisory Committee session at 12 and 6 p.m. on Thursday, May 8th, where we'll close out the school year. We're going to have some additional information through our partnerships with Atrium Health and lots of great resources shared as we move into the end of the school year. So we hope to see you there. And then I did want to go ahead and give you a little bit of a preview, a highlight for an upcoming opportunity that will be taking place on August 9th. We will be hosting our back to school celebration. The back to school celebration will be hosted at Truist Field, home of the Charlotte Knights in Uptown Charlotte. It'll take place from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And this free family-friendly event is going to be focused in on more information around our CMS Family Academy. You'll have an opportunity to engage with the CMS Hub, where our departments will be there to answer any questions and make sure you're prepared for the upcoming school year. This will be a great opportunity to engage in our health and wellness partnerships and engage with our college and career cove if you have any secondary students as well. We'll have community resources, a family fun zone. Lunch will be provided to all families. We'll have school supplies, book bags, and it is just going to be a great event that we hope that you are able to attend and learn more and be with us as we get ready for the 25-26 school year and start off ready and excited, because we know that this is going to be just an even better school year as we keep growing and strengthening together. At this time, if there's any questions, please send them through the Q&A and we're happy to address them. I love that we've already had some feedback shared within our Q&A about how informative today's session was, and we're so glad to hear that you're able to take what you learned today and go ahead and start having those engaging conversations with your students so that you can be a part of the different opportunities available through the school and have those deep, meaningful conversations with your student as well. We hope that you are able to continue to stay engaged with us. As we do not have any additional questions in Q&A at this time, you are always welcome to provide them through our feedback link, and we hope that you do so. The goal of these sessions is to make sure that your needs have been met as a family. If there's additional opportunities to strengthen, please let us know. Or if there's additional topics you would like to learn more about in the future, please let us know, and we are happy to support you by planning and bringing information and resources to you. Thank you for joining us today. I'll have my email in the Q&A if there is any additional questions. We hope that you are able to stay connected with us. And we look forward to seeing you at our upcoming Family Academy sessions or at the May Title I Family Advisory Committee that will be our final one for the year. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate your time and we look forward to seeing you soon.